We have got to recognize the cards that have been dealt, and we have got to meet fire with fire.
That was Democratic California Governor Gavin Newsom throwing down the gauntlet today, saying his state will move forward to redraw congressional maps in his party's favor if Texas Republicans do the same. Texas House Democrats have so far blocked the Republican plan by walking out on a special session that ends tomorrow. But a second special session is set to start the same day. For insight about whether Democrats will change their strategy moving forward, we're joined now by Texas State Representative Ann Johnson, one of the Democrats who left the state. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you paying attention to what's happening in Texas because it's not just about affecting Texas, it will impact the entire nation.
And the current special session, as we said, ends tomorrow. Governor Abbott says he'll call another one immediately. You and your Democratic colleagues have set conditions for your return. What are they?
So, one, we are taking this day by day, and the special session was supposed to go through the middle of next week. And the governor has indicated that he will try to get the speaker and the lieutenant governor to sunny die tomorrow, which means ending that session and taking away the arrest warrants that are effectively on each of our heads, effectively. And then it's up to the governor to call the next. And when he calls it, he has to determine what's going to be on the special session agenda, meaning what does he want to talk about? And you are right. We have successfully stopped the clock. We are attempting to defeat this particular special session call. And it is up to Governor Abbott what he wants to put on next. Personally, as a Democrat, I would like to see us address the issues around public health, around public education, and of course, the flooding that has occurred in Central Texas. But Governor Abbott and Texas Republicans have made it clear the only reason they wanted us there in July was to try to steal 5 congressional seats and effectively determine the outcome of the election before anybody went to vote. And so, what we have asked for as Democrats is not only to stop that effort, but to raise the national awareness around what Governor Abbott and Trump are attempting to do. And I am grateful to see that today, Governor Newsom has indicated that they are going to go to the people of the state of California and ask if they are willing to vote to effectively say what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If Texas wants to take this extraordinary step of mid-decade redistricting, which really violates the spirit of the Texas Constitution, then California will match that energy and effectively fight fire with fire. And at a time when the balance and having any check on this administration couldn't be more important, I am grateful that blue states are stepping up.
So the idea is if California moves forward, that's 5 seats in California for 5 seats in Texas potentially. But you've also got Republicans in Florida, Missouri, possibly Indiana, who are moving forward to claim even more seats. So where does this all end up?
Yeah, I mean, this is a terrible political partisan game. I mean, we've not only seen Abbott now say, well, if California does 5, then I want to ask for 10. This is about politicians trying to reinforce their power. I don't know anybody that doesn't hate gerrymandering. We all hate gerrymandering. It's why I repeatedly have offered legislation for an independent commission in Texas to redraw the lines based on the voters and not by politicians. I can't even get that bill to get a hearing in our Republican chambers. Democrats in the United States voted for H.R. 1, an independent commission nationwide. Every Democrat voted for it. Republicans refused to support it. And so when people say, well, both sides just do it, no, not really. Democrats support having the voters draw lines and then we compete on fair ideas and fair policy. That's what Republicans are afraid of. Mid-decade redistricting is not a normal thing. They are doing it because they're afraid of the next election. It's up to the people to say Republicans need to stop. I will say one of my favorite things about this conversation is now you have Republican congressmen in blue states try to pass a law that says we shouldn't do mid-decade redistricting. So they're fine with it when it hurts Democrats. They're not okay with it when it hurts them. And that should tell people everything they need to know.
In fact, one of those congressmen, Mike Lawler of New York, was on this program recently making that point. We also heard from Texas Republican Representative Carl Tepper this week on the program, and he said that he thinks some sort of deal could be worked out. How do you see it? Do you see a path toward an agreement?
Yeah, there's no deal. It's just stop. I mean, it's up to Texas Republicans. Governor Abbott has not yet called his next special. He has not yet said what we're going to talk about. And so I agree with Representative Tepper. I consider him a friend. And I would ask, tone it down and stop the insanity. Don't move forward with this. We all know they actually don't want to do it, but they won't have the courage to step up and say no to Trump. And so it really is up to them. This is all on Republicans. Do you want to break the rules? Do you want to break the institution? And don't forget, when Trump called Georgia Republicans and said, "Hey, boys, I need you to find me almost 12,000 votes," they said, "No, sir, that's a line too far. We're not going to do that for you." But when Trump has called Texas and said, "Hey, boys, I need you to find me 5 new congressional seats," they said, "Does July work for you?" I am proud as a Texas Democrat. We have stopped that play in July, and here we are now in August. It's up to those same Texas Republicans. Are you going to do what he asked you to do in violation not only of the Texas Constitution, but 99% of the people that showed up on this bill to testify said, "Don't do this. We don't want this. This is not good for Texas." And so Texas Republicans are about to prove to people, who do they play for? Are they here to serve the interest of Texans, or are they here to serve the interest of partisan extremism?
Texas Democratic Representative Ann Johnson, thanks again for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all.